look at your scores, you may see that for your mind and for your body separate, you have very similar scores. So you might have 3 around the same thing, you might have 2 around the same thing, or you might have 1 that's way higher than the others. Everybody has all the elements in their body and in their mind. You have some unique proportion. So you may have a lot of fire in your mind, and you may have a bit of wind. You may have a lot of earth in your body, and you may have a bit of fire too. So what we do in this program is we learn to manage all of the elements in our mind and in our body. So you're going to learn that an earthy mind is that more stable mind, slower thoughts. But I know a lot of earthy people whose thoughts will sometimes run crazy and they can't sleep. That's because the wind in their earthy mind got all stimulated. So you have to know how to ground that earth, right? You'll find a lot of people who have very strong, good digestion, and that would be fire digestion. You'll find that suddenly they're constipated and aren't using the potty anymore. And that means that they have too much wind in their system, so they have to learn to manage that. So we're going to learn to manage all of the elements. But we'll do this because this is fun. And by the end of the program, you are going to have done all the work to learn how to eat for the hardest element body type. You're going to done all the work to learn how to calm that windy mind, which is what is most aggravated in our Western society. And then you can move forward and you're just going to get it. So it's all just going to come together. Yes, sure.
First page is mind and second is body?
Yes. Mind and then body. So who was my windy mind, or who were my windy minds? Okay. And then who were my windy bodies? Yes, one. Kind of.
They're real equal. They're pretty close.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. So the wind. Now, I love this idea of a butterfly floating through space as being what you would resonate with. Like if you could close your eyes and think, I am the wind, imagine you are this butterfly flitting about. You know, this beautiful, dramatic, creative butterfly that's flitting from thing to thing to thing, living in this cool, dry, light environment. Because what is the wind? The wind is cold, it's light, it's dry, it's erratic, it's unpredictable, it's fresh, it's newness, it's energy. So in your mind, if you are a windy mind, your mind is a little dry and brittle and fragile. What does that mean? Well, I like to think your dryness is your wittiness, because the wind tends to be a very witty person. They're quick. They're sharp. You say something and they're right back at you because their minds are going 1,000 miles per hour. They are prone, because of their brittleness and their fragility, if I'm not making up a word, to anxiety and worry. So that worry wart, you know, who worries about stuff that never happened is probably never going to happen, that's an overactive wind element in their body. They are very anxious and worried, and they take on a lot of self-blame. So when something goes wrong around a wind person, they probably blame themselves. They did something wrong and they want to fix it. Their feelings tend to be easily hurt, and that's just because they have more of that brittle mind. It's very fragile. So when you're talking to your friends who have a windy mind, know that even saying something in your best interest, you might hurt their feelings. And then, of course, they're anxious and they're worried, so they'll go with it for a long time. Yeah. They tend to be light and erratic too. So the wind is a very light sleeper. So if you're a person who maybe has a hard time falling asleep and gets up a lot throughout the night, like you just wake really easily, you probably have a lot of the wind element in your mind. Lots of thinking, nonstop. Lots of talking. You guys will know I have the wind in my brain. I can talk 1,000,000 miles an hour. I talk with my hands. I have to sit on my hands not to talk with my hands. And if you have ever spent a day with me in my home, I will never sit down. I never sit down unless it's on my meditation chair. I'm from one thing to one thing to one thing. I never finish anything. Me working in the yard is stacking a few logs, pulling a few weeds, cleaning up some leaves, going back to the logs, and at the end of the day, it's all done somehow, but I haven't spent more than 5 minutes at a time on any one thing. Completely erratic. And keep in mind, that's a balanced person too. So that's just your nature. Good short-term memory. So the wind is a fun person to have around because they know all the latest headline news. They know the top 10 bestsellers on the New York Times best-selling list. They're reading them all at the same time. And they know a little bit about everything. They have very good short-term memories, very good superficial memories. So they know a little bit about everything, which makes them very fun and very engaging and very nice to have at a dinner party because they'll entertain you all night. Unpredictable, lax routines. So the wind is a person who may show up late or may not show up at all. The wind is a person who needs to be working, especially in a more open environment. So they don't want to have that 9-to-5 job. The wind is someone who needs to come and go as they please. They need to take lots of breaks whenever they creatively need the break. They need to be independent of a lot of input, and they need to be in more like an open space. So if you took a wind person and stuck them in a cubicle from 9 to 5 and isolated them, they probably would go out of balance pretty quick. So even knowing who you are can help you choose the kind of job that you're going to thrive in. Yeah, they need a window. They need to look out. Mm-hmm. There you go, exactly. Wind people love to start things. So if you are, again, working with the wind, or if you need to get something done in your home and you don't know how to do it, go to the wind. They're the ones who are going to come up with a creative solution. They're going to get the project rolling. They're going to inspire. They're going to motivate everybody. But don't think they're going to finish anything, okay? They will not finish the project, because by the time the words are out of their mouth what the project is, they're done with the project and they're actually on to the next project in their head. So they're great, creative, wonderful initiators. The wind type, you know, I'm managing my own business. I got 2 kids I got to run all over the planet. If you ask me what I'm working on, you would laugh, because I have 20 projects in the works all the time. What are you doing? I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. You know, it's through total discipline and having some really good earthy people around me that I actually finish stuff. And I like to shop too. So windy people like to spend money, and they shop really funny too, because the wind is an impulse purchaser, and they do tend to be a little bit of like giving people. So they're always picking up the little things for people to buy, like presents, little gifts, little gifts, little gifts. And my mom is very much a wind type too. So every time she comes to my house, she has something she picked up. You know, it's like a magnet of a hot dog. I saw this and just thought of you. And you're like, I can't get to put that on my fridge now, you know? Or it's like a teacup with a chip on it. I was at the flea market and saw this and thought of you. And you're like, okay, I'll just add that with all the other teacups you keep picking up for me. So it's cute. My mom's super cute. Body, okay, so that's in the mind. So do we feel like we're windy minds, any of us? Can you relate to that kind of person?